So we are chatting today with Valentina Elva, Lightworker extraordinaire, a channel of higher consciousness, connector to the Lightworker realm of an infinite intelligence, and a human being loving to play on this planet. So let's just jump in wherever you'd like to, Valentina. Maybe tell us a bit about what you currently love to do and maybe how you got started.
That was a beautiful introduction. Thank you very much, Kevin. And yeah, from where to start? Well, I am a light worker, I just said, and I've been on the spiritual path for a long time now. I think all of that, I mean, I've always been, but I was conscious of it when I was probably, I don't know, 27, 28. And something just didn't quite feel okay for me. So I needed to start doing, some research and trying to answer the many questions that I had. And so a little bit at a time, for me, it was like finding things out of the blue. It was like I would click to, one link and that would open another one and bring another one. And everything felt so meant to be that it's like I had a question and next click would be the answer to it. So that's pretty much how I started. I always feel like there was something I needed to maybe understand about myself. I always felt quite different, quite, outside of the box. And for a long time, that was a struggle for me. Kind of is a little bit still, but I suppose right now, with the new technologies that we have, it's easier to connect with people that feel and think like you. So that makes you feel a little less, weird. But it's been a struggle for me. And I'm happy that right now things are changing and we can connect, with others, feel and resonate with your energy and what you are. And so I don't feel that lonely anymore. So
Nice. I'm curious, what was the when you were in your early 20s, was there a thing that was starting to build up that kind of propelled you on the journey?
nothing made sense to me. It's
Oh,
like, the regular things and what you're supposed to be doing, the things you're supposed to be feeling, they just didn't feel right for me. And of course, you try to go with the flow and you try to fit in a society that just doesn't feel exactly okay for you, but you do it because you need to.
yeah.
I mean, I was really feeling different, so I needed to find a way to feel a little less outside of the box. So I tried to go along with it. But it just took me to a place where I was so frustrated and so unsatisfied about things that I just said, at the time, I just went like, I don't believe in anything anymore, like nothing at all. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't feel comfortable. And so for a long time, I didn't believe in anything at all. And then something happened in my life, a moment where I just, even though I didn't believe in anything, well, that's what I was telling myself. I just went up and looked outside and the sky and said, if there's something out there, I just need you to show me what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm just so tired. And sure enough, something came to me. I remember I was driving, it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. And for me, it was beautiful because it was quiet. I used to drive back home at night and just look at the sky. And a sudden realization just came to me. It was just like a voice, just like, it was so emotional for me at that moment. It felt like, well, everything you're looking for is within. And this boy just kept going, kept going, kept going. And then I remember just going home and just trying not to relax and go to bed. And this little voice was just right there in my head. And I started researching. And from that moment on, all the material that I needed was right there for me. Articles and things, and I just started waking up.
Nice.
With everything, and I've never stopped ever since.
So was the voice, I'm curious now, did it have certain guidance, or was it an identification of some sort that you could actually do the research on, or were you just kind of going from your gut?
He actually said something to me that for me was just absolutely nuts. He said, "You are God." And I'm like, that's not possible. Like for me at the time, I'm like, what? I'm like, that cannot be possibly true. But I felt it in a way that it felt right. It felt real. It felt true.
Mm.
And I never doubted that. Although at the moment I didn't believe in anything, not the God that we traditionally think of, because that to me is absolutely nonsense. Like
Right.
all the religion and all the things you attach to the word God was so ridiculous to me. It didn't make any sense the way they were trying. I went to religious schools and stuff like that, so that was my upbringing, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But the way this came to me, it was absolutely different. The resonance, the vibration, what I was feeling when I was driving, it was totally different. And it just, I stopped for a moment, to be honest with you, because I'm like, what is this? It's coming to me. And it kept just building up, and things were just coming my way. And I don't know if they were synchronicities or if you can call them that way, but yeah, it was material just coming to me and making total sense. Like I remember when I found the low one, and even though that is not an easy material to digest, when I was reading it, such a deep resonance that all I could do was, of course, it was like remembering, and of course that makes sense. Of course that makes sense. And slowly, I'm like, has such a big resonance with me. And again, it was like remembering a lot of things that I already knew. And
Right.
meditation after meditation, I was able to just get in touch to so many aspects of myself that I didn't even know were there.
So the Law of One through Neville Goddard, or who was talking about it?
It just came to me through a link.
Okay.
I was reading material, really spiritual things and trying to find something that I could just read. And I don't know if it was actually on YouTube. Maybe it was Valentina or something like that. Could have been. No, I found him afterwards. So it just came to me. I don't even remember how. I don't know if it was through a friend or a website. I just remember having this material in front of me and needing to buy the book. And I just started reading it. And at the beginning, it was like I needed to read like again and again because I'm like, this is so complex. And then the more I went into it, the more it felt like so natural to me to understand what it says. It was just, again, I was remembering something deep at the very core of my being. I'm like, yes, it makes sense.
And so the feeling, you said that word a few times, and we know based on,
It is my compass right now. I
yes.
understood that for me, the way I use discernment is through my full physical body, emotions, sensations, not just the feelings, although they are very strong for me. This is pretty much the way I connect with everything, just through here, but also just paying attention to how I feel. It's physical, it's emotional, it's everything together. And it makes me vibrate sometimes. So if I understood that after a long time, meditation after meditation, because I wasn't very much in tune with my own being. I was so out of alignment. I didn't know how to start using it again. My instrument, it was so out of tune that it took me a long time to reconnect with myself and center myself again and quiet the mind. And once you get to that point, well, first of all, you can't go back. It's really difficult to go back. And then it's like, again, it's like an instrument. The more you play it, the more you get accustomed to it and you know how to use it, how to utilize that to guide you. So at the moment, I use that way more than I use anything outside of myself.
Would you say, did you use meditation? What were some tools that really helped you?
I did everything on my own. Like I was always alone, always doing my things inside my room. So I never went like to, I don't know, spiritual retreat or anything like that. So I was just kind of exploring myself. And my meditations were just sit down, with something that can relax me and go with it. You know, at the beginning it was 10 minutes because my mind would just get in the way so strongly. It's like thoughts in the beginning. But then because my desire was to go deeper, I was able to quiet the mind and just, you know, go inside and listen to my inner voice.
So you focused on, so what worked for you then was you had such a strong desire to make that connection, and
Yeah.
that helped your mind to be quiet then. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. And right now I'm able just to do that quite easily. If I'm stressed or something's going on, because I'm human, of course, something's going on around me, maybe it takes me a little longer, but if I want to go there, I go there. And I know where I'm going because I can feel it.
Yeah.
And I just go with it. I just go with it. I know I'm at the right frequency when I feel certain things. And for me, I can just go with it. And very little distraction for me when I'm like in there, you know, headphones and my eyes are closed. The outside world doesn't exist for me in that moment.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I'm curious because a lot of people like me went into our heads early in childhood for whatever traumatic reasons and kind of moved away from the heart. Do you feel that you did that as well, or have you always had that connection, you know, more or less available?
When I was a child, that was actually my place to go to hide. So instead of running away from it, I would go within. And so that was like my little space. I would go maybe somewhere, and I was always very alone as a child, you know, just, I wasn't exactly that outgoing when I was little. So for me, it felt just so normal to go within and be with myself and, you know, look up at the stars. And I always was so curious about what was out there since I was a little girl. It's like, I remember thinking such a silly thing when I was little, like, what's beyond the blackness? That was my question, like so vague. I mean, what's there? And I always felt really connected to the sky, extremely connected to the sky and the stars. And that hasn't changed a bit. Even about stronger right now, obviously.
Yeah, and you've made energetic connections then with consciousness from the stars, would you say?
Recently, yes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's funny because I never trusted myself. Like, I feel like, am I making things up? Am I going a little crazy? You know, so for me, even though everything wasn't there, I didn't know they were there. Because for me, it was normal. I didn't know anything different from it. So, and because I didn't speak about it with others, I didn't know that that wasn't the case for the people around me. So I thought that was just absolutely normal to feel the way I was feeling and to connect the way I was connecting. And so I just imagined it was me, you know, just imagining things. And probably, yeah, I was scared of talking about it with people because I knew exactly what they were going to tell me and how they were going to be looking at me. So I already felt different, right? So I didn't want to feel even more like, yeah, never. But recently, I just started to pay more attention to it. And I just decided to embrace it. You know, just be who you are, even if it's weird. And the moment I did that, of course, I needed to heal a lot about myself and things that were there that I can understand now. They were blocking the flow. So even though it was strong back in the days, all of that trauma and all of that pain and all of the things I was, you know, aware of, you know, all of that baggage in your subconscious mind, they were blocking me.
Yeah. And now they've used this, become this sort of catalyst to propel you towards the connection.
The moment I was able to release something really big for me, that was, of course, part of my childhood, and I did that quite recently. I thought that was healed and done, and it wasn't. Like we were saying, it's just layer after layer, and when you think you're done, you're not. It's like it opens up another aspect of that situation that you didn't know was there.
Yeah.
And for me, I did that really deeply, probably 8 months ago. And when I did that, it just opened up completely my connection with everything. It just got stronger. I felt it like flowing. I just genuinely feel like, okay, I'm removing this from here, like a physical thing. And I felt the space. It's just creating the space for the energy to flow. And when I did that, it was there. It was more, I could see it like with my eyes closed, I could see it more. Like before it was just like a feeling. Right now I can see it as well. So
and so now how does it manifest? And have you identified, like, just tell me a little bit more about how that comes through.
For me, it comes through meditation.
Okay.
Like sometimes, but it's not very often, dreams. Like I started with dreams. Like dreams that were quite crazy for me. I thought they were just dreams. And then I was able to connect the dreams with all the things. And right now, I can go with the intention of connecting. I can just go and sit down and meditate with the intention of connecting. And sometimes it works. Sometimes not that much. It depends on how I'm feeling and what's in there that I'm probably not aware. So if I'm not what I'm supposed to be, I don't get it really, not as I would like to. It comes up.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but sometimes when I'm in the right space, mentally and emotionally, I just need to have the desire to connect with them. I can just call upon them and they're there.
And so then are you able to have dialogues yourself? And have you been able to do this with another person present?
I can hear them in my head. And it's like a dialogue. And sometimes I feel the need to write. So I can wake up in the middle of the night and I need to have something there close to me, like a piece of paper and a pen, because it feels like it's so free flowing. It just comes, I start writing and it just comes down. And so it's a little bit of that, and it's a little bit of just internal dialogues. Yeah. Okay.
Do you feel like that this is, I think I know the answer already, but I'm going to ask it. Do you feel like then this is expanding into something where you would be sharing the messages with others?
Well, that feels like something that is really, really far down the path. But like to me, to be doing this with you right now is already stepping outside of my comfort zone. So you know that.
Yeah, and here you are.
But the desire to help the collective is stronger. And so, yeah, why not? I mean, if I feel like it needs to be shared, then I will. But I want to be, I don't even know. I don't know. I need to be sure that what I'm doing it right before I can share it with the collective. Yeah. Now it's very important for me. It's my inner guidance. And it's such a comfort for me when I'm feeling alone, like they are there for me. So it's like my little family, friends. It made me feel loved. So.
Yeah. Well, certainly we all as light workers need validation of the information that's coming through when we start to share it.
For me, it's always been kind of a blockage for me, the amount of validation that I needed. And I actually I was meditating and I asked the question to my collective, what is that about? And I kept asking for guidance and they just went, go within, go within. Like, you don't need it, just go within. It's like forcing me to trust it more, trust myself a little more, because it's always been a struggle for me. The validation part is like, again, am I nuts? I mean, am I imagining this stuff? It's like, is it really happening? And then the ego kicks in and I'm like, why me? I mean, why would it be?
Yeah. So that sounds like I've never thought about this before, but you were invalidated as a child enough to where you doubt yourself now.
Yeah.
And that's what I had. And I think so many of us on this journey who went within to find that safety place, that safe place.
Yeah. I needed to go there because it was just the safest place I had growing up.
Yeah. And so now that is growing, it's turning back into the authentic version of you, the one when you were born. You're becoming more whole again. Reintegrating the pieces is kind of what I'm getting.
It feels like I'm doing exactly that.
Yeah. Nice. What would you like to, what do you want people to know about you and this journey and where you're headed? Is there anything beyond what we've talked about? I mean, there's more to talk about.
The reason for me being here is because I know what it feels to have things happening to you. You don't know how to, you don't know how to name those things. You don't even know how to address those things. And I just want to be there for people going through it. You know, I just want to be like, even if it's just a little thing that can help them feel like it's okay. You're not weird. It's okay for you to feel the way you feel. There's plenty of people out there feeling exactly the same way. They just don't say it.
Yeah.
You make them feel weird. So that's my goal right now, just to embrace all the light workers out there and make them feel like, you're not alone.
Wow.
It's a lot.
I could feel that when you said it. It's a very powerful energy within you. So do you believe that's going to unfold into something like, so right now, do you talk to people, or are you open to conversation?
I created my page recently,
Okay.
and that's pretty much because of my work with you and, deciding to trust a little bit in my own abilities and my inner guidance and take it from there. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be creating with it, but I'm not thinking about that much. It's out there, and if it resonates, it does. And the doors are open, I just want to be there for people without any particular goal, just being there and just
Hold space.
hold space for them. Like they say, you find your own tribe and you feel less alone.
Yeah.
That's
nice. Are you interested in sharing your contact information now, or?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can find me online if you just type Valentina Elva or Quantum, Elva Quantum. You can find me, and you can email me for anything, even if it's just for a chat. It doesn't need to be anything,
Okay. You have a Facebook page for
Yes,
Elva Quantum, as I recall. Yeah, and it's ELVA Quantum.
exactly.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
Anybody that feels, like it resonates, just drop me a line and we can just take it from there. We can just have a conversation, even if whatever it is you're feeling, we can just deal with it together. That's the main goal.
Yeah. We're all in this together, as they say. As you say, the law of one, where we are essentially one consciousness with different expressions.
And we're all kind of imagining the same future.
Yes.
Why not to just help each other while we're doing that?
Yes. Yeah, right. Seems obvious when you say it out loud.
Well, I didn't have anyone, so I know there's plenty of people out there just starting the journey, and I want to be there.
So it sounds like that you're so present in the now moment. Maybe you don't have a specific direction. You're just letting it unfold, or is there something you want to try doing?
I'm going to be here today, so I don't know where I'm going to be in the future. Nice. I want to do this. I want to be part of it, and I don't know how, what form that's going to manifest for me. It could be just doing this. It could be anything really. I'm open to everything. I'm just aligning to whatever feels right. Because right now, this feels right.
And it seems like, sorry, yeah. So it seems like your journey up to this point has been doing exactly that.
Yeah.
You figured out how to open up enough to get that first impulse. And you've been following the feeling place, like connecting in and then feeling the impulse and then moving. To
the point where I just felt like before I was just working on myself. And I thought, doing that is already a big help for the collective, because everything I do reflects on everything since we're all one.
Yeah.
But then I got to a point where it wasn't enough. I just felt like I need to do something more. And again, I don't feel comfortable about doing it. I don't feel comfortable about, coming out of my cave and and let people see me. That's not always been my way, you know. But again, the desire is strong enough.
Yeah.
And so
That's great advice for anyone on this journey. Let the desire part, the feeling that you have, the calling, I think you called it.
you know, the way I see it, I don't want to be driven by fear. That's just not okay for me. So even if it scares me, that alone is based on fear. So I don't want to follow that. I want to follow what makes me feel good. And even if it's scary, it's coming from a good place. So if it's coming from the heart, even if it's scary, just jump. Just jump. Because if you're feeling drawn to jump in, I think you're meant to. And there's no problem when you do that. So it's very safe for you to follow that kind of feeling. Scary based on fear, I don't want to go there. Scary with motivation and you know, that kind of feeling when you think, yeah, this feels good. It's scary, but it feels good.
Yeah.
Just
scary, exciting is what I like to call it. Yeah.
Again, there is no right or wrong. There is no, we're all safe all the time. We just think we're not, or we are safe.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, you bring up a good point. In childhood, we didn't feel safe, and maybe we were not safe, you know, either physically or emotionally, mentally. And to your point, then it feels like that's what's still playing in the mind. It's the association. But are you safe?
Wow. It's so deep in the back of your head that you don't even realize you're still operating under those guidelines, or we can decide not to.
Yes.
You're safe now.
Yeah.
Before, but we are now.
Yeah.
You know, you can take care of the child yourself, the child you were, and now it's up to you to be, you know, offer protection towards that inner child.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it.
Nice. So what advice would you have for others who are maybe a little earlier on in the journey than you are?
Just be patient with yourself. You know, you don't need to get anywhere. You just need to, one step at a time, understand how it feels, where you want to be, and there is no rush. There is no doing the work like all together right now. That's a lot of pressure. Just take your time to enjoy the path. And for me, I just wait for things to come to me, because that means I'm attracting them. It's alignment. So sit down, relax. It's a journey, you know, just enjoy it. And if you feel like you need some help, well, outside on the internet, there's a lot of people that can help you. Just use your inner guidance. If it resonates, just go with it. And yeah, don't pressure yourself to be any place. You don't need to be anywhere where you are right now. And just feel good in there. And when you're ready to change, when you're ready to move forward, you will. It's unstoppable. There is no way of stopping that.
That's a good point. It is it's inevitable.
It's unstoppable. When you feel that is, you know, you can deny it and try again, but it will come back and it will be stronger and stronger and stronger. And you're going to get to the point like I did, when I'm like, I don't feel comfortable putting myself out there. I don't like to be seen, but it was so strong that I'm like, well, I need to do it.
Yeah.
I need to do it. That's exactly what I want to do. And if it's scary, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if it scares me. It feels good.
Yeah. So, and eventually then the fear goes away as you confront it. Yeah.
Yeah. The more you do it, the more you realize that the fear is based on nothing. It's just your mind trying to tell you that, you know, you worry about how you're going to be perceived, what people are going to be thinking. And all of that is just in your mind. At the end of the day, you do what you feel is good, and don't worry about what others can think about you. That doesn't matter. You know, the people that are right for you will come to you, and those who are not, well, you know, the law of attraction is just going to take care of that.
Yeah, having faith in that, that's so important. You are taken care of. Well, I do want to acknowledge you for taking that step in doing this conversation here today, Valentina. That's that in itself is the demonstration to others that it can be done, and that not only is there no danger, but you've expanded just by taking the step. So is there anything else you want to share with the people listening in before we wrap up?
No, I think I said everything I needed to say today. Other than follow your heart, there is nothing else I can tell you. Just follow it. If it feels good, follow it. And even if it doesn't make any sense for everyone around you, family, friends, it doesn't really matter. Just go.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are not going to be in the right frequency, and they're not going to feel the things you feel, but that doesn't mean that you need to stop them.
Yes. Let them be on their journey. You be on your journey. Yeah.
And
All is
everything's
well.
beautiful the way it is. So even if they are walking a different path, you can still be there for them, and they can still be there for you. It doesn't need to, mean separation straight away. You can just walk different paths.
Yeah.
And sometimes it comes together and sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay too.
Yeah. As you said, that you always have the guidance, the team inside that you can connect with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God I did. Otherwise, it would have been a lonely, 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 lonely journey.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for the conversation today, Valentina. This has just been really enlightening, and I can feel my energy shifted just by talking with you and your calm, assuring energy. Like you have such a powerful knowing that radiates out of you. So I appreciate you sharing that energy with me today.
So much for having me. And again, I'm just a reflection of you. So that's why we work so well together. It's just
I appreciate that.
Love your energy as well. Thank you for having me.
All right. All right. Well, we'll wrap up for now. Thanks again.